Sony updated their product last year. The Z3 got a bigger brother, which is not really bigger, just has better hardware. It's called the Z3 Plus. You can see it here linked left in the picture, and of course Apple has also a Plus product since last year in September. It's called the Apple iPhone 6 Plus. It's plus sized, it's bigger than the old ones, that's why it's called that. Both have the same display resolution, not the same camera technology, but also Sony sensors in the Apple iPhone, so it might be better, might be not, you will see in a second. Otherwise, both beautiful metal devices available for the same starting price, round about $699 and $679, so that's about the same, but here 16 gigs of internal memory and here 32, which are expandable. Here there's a little slot you can slide out, and then you can expand the internal memory with up to right now 200 or even 512 gigs more. That's really a lot and really awesome. Apple charges you a lot more for more space, so that's definitely a minus point in my eyes for Apple. Otherwise, the Sony camera does not stick out, the Apple camera does stick out, and actually it should have not, because the Apple iPhone is thicker, 7.1 millimeters compared to 6.9 millimeters. So the iPhone is really 0.2 millimeters thicker, even though the battery size is around about the same in both. We have 2915 milliamps versus 2930 milliamps. So as I said, about the same. Even though the display is bigger on the Apple iPhone, the battery will probably still last the same due to the software. Otherwise, completely open ports on the Sony now. The first completely open ported Sony with complete waterproofness, which is quite nice. So that's again no drawback anymore. So it looks like a regular phone like the iPhone, but is completely waterproof and has also expandable memory. That's the first, and that makes it the best waterproof smartphone on the market right now. On and off switch volume rocker and dedicated camera button. Again, something the Apple doesn't have. The volume rocker also still there, but Apple still has also here the little switch, so you can switch off the volume. So that's almost it from the outside. Again, here the Sony is a smaller 5.2 inch display versus a 5.5 inch display, which means that we have definitely a bigger screen, but not a bigger resolution on the iPhone, which is alright, because the pixel per inch are on both quite high. We have here 401 and on the left 424. So waterproof, lighter, smaller, thinner, and better hardware inside. An 8-core processor, which is 2 gigahertz times 4 and 1.5 gigahertz times 4, and in the Apple only a dual core processor, so 2 cores with each 1.4 gigahertz, and also just 1 gig of RAM versus 3 gigs of RAM. So that's why we will try a little bit of Relic Run by Tomb Raider, which starts up faster. We will also try out the camera now, and we will also check out our other things here on both phones. So let's try out the first camera, the front camera first, where we have on the iPhone here 1.2 megapixel, and here we have the 5 megapixel camera and the Sony. Both can record full HD images, I think. Maybe just 720p on the right one, and you can also see that the wide angle is also a lot better on Sony, which is really quite amazing how good the wide angle got here on the 5 megapixel camera. And it tries to follow my face also, but otherwise the speed seems quite the same, maybe even a little bit faster on the Sony, probably thanks to the processing and RAM power. So again, let's just turn around the cameras and let's try out the back cameras with the standard camera option. So you guys can see again, the box is a little bit bigger on the iPhone. It's a little bit closer therefore, and the wide angle is worst also therefore, which is alright, because the quality on both is still quite amazing. The focus seems to be the same speed, and the colors also on both really quite nice. A little bit more reddish my table here on this one, a little bit more natural on the iPhone, but that's just something that you can easily adjust also for yourself in the manual mode in the Sony, because we have so many picture modes actually that you can try out a lot of them yourself after you watch my review video, hopefully, which where I will show you all the features in the Sony phone that I'm also showing you now, just a little bit more in detail. So let's start the gaming. Now I could start up both, but I actually did that before, so I want to close the game and start them up at the same time. So you guys can see how long it takes to load the game with 1 gig of RAM and 3 gigs of RAM, and you will be stunned how fast actually it is on the iPhone. But of course iOS was always a little bit faster than the Androids, except for the Nexus devices. What else can I tell you about both? Here we don't have infrared in none of them. The Sony loses when it comes to the fingerprint reader, which obviously Apple has here on the front, and the home button, but we have a dual speaker system here, which I will also try out. In terms of music, you were able to see Sony took a little bit longer. She is already pissed and bored here, and so let's just start the gaming by pressing on both here the screen or hitting the screen. The problem is you will get always random maps, so yeah, I will die pretty quickly because I have to look at both screens at the same time. So let's just start before both smartphones glide out of my hands. Now the display went a little bit darker here on the left. Maybe I should turn off the auto darkness mode, and let's just see where I have to run. Here I have to jump, here I have to run, here I have to go left, here I have to go left. And then middle, jump and jump maybe, and I died left and died on the right also. But you were able to see not too many things happened on both of them that could tell you that both are slow or anything like that. So I think it's alright to say that both are alright when it comes to gaming. But Sony is getting a little bit warm here on the back already. Just really tiny, like 30 degrees, 40 degrees Celsius, which is alright, but I can feel it getting warm compared to the metal body here with the iPhone, which is not getting warm at all. So now before I finish off this short little comparison, I will also want to show you here a little bit of how the music sounds like on both, because dual speakers sounds always great, but Apple speakers are really also great. The problem is I don't have too much music on here on both of them, which means I will just play the stuff that's on here. So both sound quite good, a little bit more clear on the iPhone, a little bit maybe louder on the Sony, but both quite loud, quite nice devices. Obviously I would choose the Sony because of Android, not because of the main features like waterproofness. Is only waterproof anyway in just sweet water, not salty water. Definitely look out for that. Otherwise, both beautiful devices with their pros and cons, like 4K video recording compared to just full HD on the Sony and things like that. But otherwise, both beautiful, both high priced. And I will even say that with the Sony, you can also just buy the Z3. You don't need the Z3 Plus just because of the new processor and quite slightly slimmer design. The old one was also really quite good. So thank you much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. My name is Balázs. This was the iPhone 6 Plus versus the Sony Xperia Z3 Plus.